were playing what this weekend?
Yeah, I spent like 2 or 3 days just playing the older Call of Duty games. You know how Xbox turned on those servers?
And you didn't. Now these are games that you could have played anytime you wanted on PC.
Well,
right?
I think yes, but I think that the problem is that they have shut down the servers as time has gone by in a lot of these games, and then Xbox turned them on, which is something I wanted to talk to you about because
okay.
I don't know how gamers and the community as a whole is not celebrating this more, because this is huge. Okay, this is basically a company bringing back servers for a game that's supposed to be dead. You know, they're supposed to say, hey, we moved on from this generation. You know, we're not gonna, there's no one, we don't want people playing this game. And Xbox basically just said, no, you know, we're gonna get them back on board on these older CODs, and since it's our IP now, let them play, you know, through backwards compatibility. I think that should be applauded big time.
No, I don't disagree with you. Now, what do you think about the idea that they turned that on, not necessarily for you, but for Abacus players?
Oh, of course. Yeah. For sure. That's what it is. But
very soon you're going to see them. They're going to fire it up so that there will be a Switch variants of these games and the same servers. Obviously, these are Azure backed servers. You don't agree?
No, I don't. And the reason I don't agree, and I think Jez was the one that put that out there, right? Like jokingly, like he
I
put
had no idea. I had no idea. I'm asking. I just heard that. Yeah, because Jez had put out a tweet last week, you know, like a sarcastic tweet saying, "You guys are getting excited, and this is for for the Switch because they're gonna release." No, I don't think that's at all. If you think about it, Kay, what they basically did was, without this acquisition closing, they have basically figured out a way to make exclusive Call of Duty content for themselves. If you really think about it, so I think it was genius on their part, because you know
people have been buzzing about it.
I agree with you 100%. Believe it or not, I actually think that them doing this, and you know, we people in the community have been talking about the whole ABK thing for some time now. I actually think this is a way to hedge their bets, right? If the next big Call of Duty is out there right now this year, and they can't talk about it because we already know marketing prevents them from talking about it, guess what they can talk about now? All these other Call of Duty things that are now, you know, thriving on their platform, right? And the question becomes, well, why didn't you put it on others, or why didn't you unlock it for others? These games are only playable on their platform. PlayStation no longer has access to them. They're not on PS3. You can't do it, right? You can't find it anywhere. But on Xbox, where their back compat is good, they can just turn on their servers and then let people enjoy. I think this is the canary in the coal mine. I think that this is an easy way, if nothing else, this is an easy way for them to find the Call of Duty that you guys love so much, get them firing on all cylinders, and maybe give the new Call of Duties that are coming out a break.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it now, like, and I said this on a show I was on last night with Retri and Web Dave on the Gamers Council, they've basically overnight, they've made, in my opinion, Xbox the home of Call of Duty, because if you want to play all of them, you need an Xbox. There's no other way to play these.
Yep. All the variants. Absolutely.
So
absolutely. No, it is interesting. I will say, like, I've never been like, okay, so right when Call of Duty became a thing, like when people were really like just kicking butt in Call of Duty, that's when I started, like, that's when I had my first child. And so the idea of being able to, like, you know, sweaty gamer, I have not been able to do that, right? So I've always been a Call of Duty fan, but the campaign. So if I wake up one morning and every Call of Duty campaign up to a certain point is in Game Pass, oh boy, I'll see y'all next month. I'll just be one campaign after another campaign after. I would do that all weekend. I would freaking
I got you.
Great.
And I've always, you know, a lot of people, like, they kind of frown upon Call of Duty campaigns and stuff, and to me, they're just summer blockbusters. It's what it is.
Yeah.
8 hours, 7 hours. That's it.
Bro, I need a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it provides me excellent beginning, middle, and end, and then I can move on to my other things. Right?
But for a long time Call of Duty players like myself, this is like Christmas come early. It really is, because these classic Call of Duty games, it's all stuff and no fluff. There's these games weren't designed around getting you to buy skins, getting you for microtransactions. It's just the multiplayer was solid.
That's what it became. In the beginning, it was just pure and great. No, I do agree with you. Absolutely. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, gentlemen and ladies in the chat. Welcome to the playground, the Gamers Playground, the show where we try, not easy, but we try to dispel the monolith known as PCMR. We come to you every week, because I've been on vacation, forgive me. We try to come to you with some gaming talk, with some PC talk, with some tips and tricks and anything in between. And of course, I am your host for this week, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante, all those places you find me. And I'm, of course, joined by the Miami Heat himself, Mr. John Wolf. What's going on?
The Latino heat is running through the veins, brother.
What's going on, brother?
It's good, man. I missed you last week, to be honest with you, man. I missed doing our show. Today, I'm coming in hot, literally, as you know. I joined you 5 minutes prior because work was crazy today for some reason, but I'm here. We're here to talk games. We're here to have a good time, man, and that's what it's all about. I hope everybody in the chat had a nice weekend, had a nice Monday, and now you listen to us, and then you can slide on over to Coach Show if that's your thing, and enjoy that.
Absolutely, so. Yeah. So first and foremost, let me thank all the people that are in here already. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Yes, we know PC-centric show. Not everybody's into the PC stuff, but we're here to have some fun and talk games, and you guys are here, and we wholeheartedly appreciate that. So thank you guys so much. Cheap plug for me. Last Saturday, myself and the slanderous one, Mr. Everborn Saga, we came together. We did the Gaming Circle podcast. He ridiculed me, dashed me left and right, all over the place.
I was laughing.
I was on vacation when all this stuff happened. Oh, and by the way, my AKO Zoe, my A1 Pro had issues, and of course that requires ridicule. So if you missed all the humor and speculation of why it is that I now have a ROG ally, yes, I have a ROG ally.
He's in the gang. He's in the gang now.
I'm in the gang now. I'm in the gang now. Yes,
there you go.
That is why. So come check out that episode, and we had a lot of fun on that one. So, but yeah. So real quick before we get to our next segment. You heard about that, did you not, Mr. John Wolf? Like why it is I am part of ROG Ally Gang? Yes.
From my understanding, okay, what you're claiming, okay,
what I'm claiming,
you're claiming that your AO1K Zoe, it crapped out on you while you were on break, and of course you won a game because you know how we are with this stuff. I totally
gotta play the games, baby.
You gotta play, right? So yes. You said, you know what? I'm not gonna be on vacation with a bunch of kids and not have my gaming stuff with me because I gotta stay sane. And then you went into a Best Buy and you did what you needed to do.
So let me actually tell you how bad this was. Okay, so I show up long story short, a lot of kids with us. I think 9 in total, 7 in total kids with us. Right, two of mine. 3 of my sisters who has triplet boys, and we have one extra. Bunch of kids walking around DC, right? Walk in, uncle / dad has a bright idea, right? Oh, let's bring the Switch because a bunch of kids will get a chance to play. We have a bunch of controllers. We bring the Switch. What happened? There was a storm that day. It fried the dock and fried my Switch.
Wow.
Yes, it fried my Switch. Yeah, I have now fixed the Switch. $120 later. They had to replace the battery. Yes. So I'm on vacation. It fries my Switch. And then my A1 Pro has issues. And I'm just like, son of a...
Damn, it's kind of like if the gaming gods were working against you. But you know who wasn't?
You know what?
The Asus ROG Ally wasn't.
Best Buy exists in Maryland. So I walked into a Best Buy. Oh, and even that was a crapshoot. I walked into a Best Buy. The dude at Best Buy goes, "Hey, why don't you take this open box one? A lot of people have been returning theirs. So these things are in pristine condition. Take this open box one." I'm like, all right, great. I save a couple bucks. Say, take the open box one. Long story short, take it home. It starts working for a while. It craps out on me. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. Oh, Asus has a great cloud service, right? You can just reverse it and put it back. I reverse it, I put it back. Yeah, now you no longer own your license.
Wow.
So when they took it back, Best Buy did. There's a process they have to go through so that they can take the license, because the license is associated by your account when you sign up, right? So Microsoft always knows, oh, this belongs to you, right? So when you reboot the machine or you re-image the machine, it checks the hardware, checks your account, and goes, oh, okay, this belongs to you, and gives you your account back, right?
Wow.
But since somebody else had open boxed it and somebody else had done that, as soon as I re-imaged it and it brought it back, it went, no, this doesn't belong to you. This account is associated with someone else, right? So what did I have to do? Go back to Best Buy, get the right brand new. Yeah, this is what happened to me on vacation.
Dude, I mean, I'm sure your wife was looking at you like, give it up, buddy. It's not meant to be, man.
she was like, you know what? Just go buy the new one. Just go, please. Just go buy. I'm like, thank you. Yeah. It was terrible. And then I bought the new one because, dang it, I wanted to play Jedi Survivor on vacation, and it would crash every 15 minutes.
Yeah, you said that. Now that's not an Asus ROG Ally problem.
No,
though, right?
That's not an Asus ROG Ally problem.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's not an Asus ROG Ally problem. I'm upset because this guy, which is broken right now, could brute force it because it had 32 gigs and it had higher network higher memory bandwidth. Because the Ally has 16 gigs and not the same memory bandwidth, 15, 20, 15 minutes max. Oh, you run out of memory and it kills you.
And what happened to your A01K Zoe? Like, it just crapped out on you, or what happened?
I think it's a similar battery issue. I think it's a battery issue. Like, you hit the power button, nothing turns on. It's a crapshoot. You know, Silicon Lottery and all that, right? If you have Best Buy, you just walk into a Best Buy and replace it. This thing doesn't have Best Buy backing it, so it is what it is.
And were you able to get in contact with them?
Yes, I was able to get in contact with them and all of that. And it will cost me some, but minimal. I should still be able to get it repaired and all that. My problem is I want to get it repaired as soon as possible, and that may not be in the cards for me. So I have found a new repair service that I will report back. Like, I want to test it out and I will report back. But if it works, it's like a subscription service, almost like a Netflix-like subscription service, right? And anything in your house, old and new, is covered 30 days after you sign up. And you can just call them and say, hey, I need this fixed, and they'll either repair it or they'll replace it for you. I don't know if it'll work with devices that aren't popular in America, but I will check it out and report back. And if it does work, I will scream from the mountaintops how great they are, and hopefully.
And you're talking about consumer electronics, right? Is what you're referring to?
Yes. And this man, I walked in the place where I fixed my switch. This man basically told me, hey, anything that has an IP address, you're covered. I'm like, you better be sure who you're talking to. Based on my router, I have 52 different unique IP address grabbing things in my house. Are you sure, sir? He goes, oh yes, old, new. You don't even need to register it. So I'll report back.
That'll be good.
Yes. So that's that. So the folks know that's what's been happening to me, right? I went on vacation trying to relax, and this is all the madness that has happened to me. But yes, Mr. Joanna Dark, I see you in the chat. You know the life I lead. You know what's going on. He's still fighting for his Aya Neo. Hopefully it shows up soon. You know,
I hope so, man.
You know, it's awesome tech, but when the issues happen, you know, then you have to kind of deal with it, and it is what it is. Hence,
that's the scary part.
Yes.
That's the scary part about dealing with those companies overseas in China and stuff. You know that they're, you know, they just, like you said, you can't walk into a Best Buy and just just find a solution real fast. You have to kind of depend on them.
Yep. But to switch on, to move on, and thank everybody for being here. I appreciate y'all for continuing to be here, for checking out the show. You know, we're driven by our community. Questions, anything you want to know, anything you want to discuss, put it in the chat. We are there for you. We're here to talk gaming. We're here to talk PCs. We're here to talk tips and tricks, whatever you want to know. So we're here for that, and we appreciate you for being here. But want to transition a bit off to the new segment that you brought up about last time we were here, which is the Backlog Brothers. Now, let me tell you.
I'm laughing because of the task I gave you on one of those games.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is actually pretty good. Good that you did that, because when my Jedi Survivor wasn't working, right? And oh, by the way, on vacation I brought my AKO Zoe for the purposes of AAA, and then I also brought my Steam Deck for the purposes of old school offline, just
and
you know, something I can play. and indies. Right. So what ended up happening was Raiden 5 Director's Cut ended up on the Steam Deck.
Nice.
And it was played for many hours during this vacation.
Because
dang it, Jedi Survivor let me down. But I got to tell you, like, this is like great for me because I loved. I was more of a side shmup instead
me
of
too.
Up down shmup person. But I loved my shmups of the day. I totally do it. I'm a big fan of it. Back in Neo Geo days, that was like the big bombastic music with the huge explosions. Raiden really like just it harkens back to that nostalgic day. You know, I really enjoyed it. I thought I had a good time with it. Now
it reminds me of the days.
Play the whole thing or anything, but it was
but it reminds me of the days that you used to walk into an arcade and then you had like these games, you know, that were all colorful with things just, you know, flashing all over the screen. And dude, it really brought me back to those arcade days because those side, you know, scrolling shooters, they're fun, man. And honestly, like, tell me how much time, like, did you notice that you're like, okay, wait a minute, some time has passed here and this is pretty good because like they give you like a lot of lives and stuff. It's not like 3 lives and you're out or anything like that. And it does have a pretty engaging story to be honest with you.
Yep. I found my son ended up like grabbing the controller and starting playing for a little while. He's 4. He played for a little while. He's like me. He's Mr. Bang your head until either you break your head or you break the wall. And he usually breaks the wall. So that's good, right? So he starts, it sucks. Oh, I don't like this. 20, 30 minutes later, he's still playing and he's enjoying it.
Oh, Mr. Joanna Dark he just recommended a great one. Iron Hander for PS1. That is a great game. That I have that. And that's really good stuff.
Excellent. No, I love my shoot 'em ups, man. I think it's absolutely excellent. And this is a nostalgia trip, wholeheartedly, 100%.
So it's a play, like
midway games, definitely a play, definitely.
You'll play it through completion then. Like you'll pick it up every now and then.
It's definitely one thing that I will start adding to my rotation. What I've noticed, and this is a side affair, but I have a lot of these retro devices, right? And I've been having back and forth with a lot of friends and people in the community and talking about all the devices that we retro off of, right? Like it tends to happen where every device you get, you turn into a retro device. And then you move on to the next device, you turn into a retro device. And then so on and so forth. So what I've been doing is these days, I want my kids to kind of like start playing them old school retro games. So like I've given my kid, my son, plays the Vita now. The old Vita. This is the OLED Vita, but this
Vita is awesome.
Has a little. This guy's his brain has been unlocked a little bit. So he's able to do a lot more than he was able to do before. So
I brought mine out the other day too because I wanted to play Uncharted, Golden Abyss.
So we're playing Golden Abyss on this. We're playing lots of old school PS1 stuff on here. Like I'm starting to actually whip out the old tech and plugging it into TVs and letting people play them. You know, so games like this squarely fit in that genre. So I'm super excited for more of that stuff. If anybody has any more interesting, you know, old school things, game I've been playing after I finished playing Raiden, game I played for a while on any old school NES, Legendary Wings. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I've never heard of that.
Same kind of shmup style, the bottom to the top, but instead you're not a plane, you're a dude or a girl with wings and you're shooting and like it's a whole thing. It reminded me when I was a kid. After playing Raiden, I had to go back and play a bit of Legendary Wings. Look that up. That's also very cool. Like really old school. Like NES, you could play that on your phone if you really wanted to.
There's a bunch of them.
Great game.
There's a bunch of them. I remember I think that there's a system that I'm kind of forgetting the name right now. I think it's called it starts with an A, but it's during that time period with the TurboGrafx 16 that it's a side scroller and then you're like you're I think an anime girl and you're writing yes, or it might be that one, or it might be that you're like on a little dolphin or whatever. Have you seen that one? And it's like a side scrolling shooter. That one is awesome too. I'm just flipping out on the name right now, but man, there's so many great games in that category. And if you think about it, one that I played last year, Neomata. Hold on, what's the? Oh man, I'm sorry. Today was such a long day at work.
Nier
Automata. Is it Nier?
Yeah.
Well, that one
when Automata. Yeah.
Yes, in that game, right? When you start the very first level, it's kind of like a shooting.
It keeps changing.
Level.
Yeah, they keep genres changing.
And that was awesome too. I love that game. That game was awesome.
There are lots of like really cool like fun. If you're into that genre of game, and like because a lot of those genres of games have left us, right? Like, you'll notice that they don't have them anymore. You'll find that there are a few companies out there, a few development houses out there that take that genre, whatever that genre is, and they continue like iterating and take it to the mountaintop. Believe it or not, oddly enough, like if you're a old school shoot 'em up person, the company whose lineage, whose discography you should look up, oddly enough, is Housemarque. PlayStation owned Housemarque.
Yes, you're right.
You're
right.
Kings of the shoot 'em up. They have taken that OG idea, brought it into 2020, like continue iterating on it. Even their latest and greatest game, which is by all accounts a first-person shooter, is a shoot 'em up. Right?
Yeah,
they're very good at that. They have a game that came out. It was their last game that came out that people didn't play, and they said that they were done with that genre. And that was, I actually have it on my Steam Deck right now. It's not deck verified, but if you you can download your own pack and get it to work. And that game is excellent. Maybe I'll record it and show some footage.
Did they do Comic Crash on PS3, or was that another company? Because that Comic Blast or I think it was something like that. The one that you were going around like the planet and shooting with different types of weapons.
Yeah. Marble Blast. Game. Marble Blast is what you're talking about.
Was that it? Yeah.
I think
that was a great game.
I'm not sure that's what that wasn't theirs, because they started with Alien Nation in 2016. That wasn't theirs. But I do recall what you're talking about. So one of their famous like the ones that most people will remember is like either Stardust HD, which was really big from them. Stardust HD, Resogun, which is really big from them, right? Returnal is the latest and greatest, but it's still super. I really loved Returnal. Like once you cue into it, it didn't connect with me when it was on PC on PlayStation 5. I tried it there, but after they revised it a little bit and I tried it on PC later, man, I couldn't put it down. One day I beat that game in 8 hours. Like that, amazing.
Wow. That was a good get for PlayStation. Let me tell you, they're a solid studio when it comes when it comes to games like that. And I'll tell you one that is that everybody is beloved. And now that Microsoft is buying a bunch of Activision stuff, they need to bring it back. Geometry Wars. That was dude in its heyday. Oh my god, I was obsessed with Geometry Wars, dude.
Absolutely,
it was so good.
Absolutely,
so good.
Absolutely excellent. I love Geometry Wars. Okay,
it was really good.
So on the point of you picked a game that I have to play. Now I guess it's my turn.
Wait, you missed a game. Did you not play Devil's Third?
Oh, I did not play Devil's Third. I couldn't get it to download. I apologize. I could not get it to download. Yeah, I tried
no
it.
Problem.
I did try it. I did try to run it. Like I have the bits for it. I could never get it to run. And I was running on vacation. I promise you next week I'll try something else.
No, you're good. Okay.
But I was on vacation, so I couldn't do both.
Listen, I played the game originally when it came out on the Wii U, because I was subscribed to GameFly, during that PS3 360 Wii U generation. So I got it through Wii U, and I remember playing the game, and I remember saying, this is not as bad as it's being reviewed. But then again, I'm a sucker for just those type of bad games, I guess. I don't know. I also have you tried Yaibu or Yaiba Ninja Gaiden? Have you ever played that one?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That game also, like people said, it's garbage, no good, right? Well, I kind of like that game too. So when you get a chance, I really want you to play this game, because there's something about it that it just has like this bad charm to it that I just want you to experience it, for you to tell me, John, that was really bad, or John, you know what? It's not as bad as people think. I'm genuinely curious to see if you like the game or not.
Keep it on the list. I will definitely check it out. Okay. So besides Raiden, the game that I played all my vacation long and ended up beating right after I came back was a game called Fist. I don't know if you've heard of it. I've been talking about it for a while now, right? My question is, Fist is a spiritual successor to a game called Shadow Complex.
Yes.
Have you played Shadow Complex, sir?
I played it back in the 360 Summer of Arcade or whatever it was. I remember.
When was the last time you played Shadow Complex? Like you played it when it first came out and that was it?
That's it. Yeah, if I look at my achievement list, it's gonna be right when it came out.
Okay, so we have being that this is a tradition of two. One, I need you, and this is for anybody who hasn't played it recently, and you all can do this because it's free on the Epic Game Store. Shadow Complex is free on the Epic Game Store. You know, for my ROG Ally gang, for my handheld gang, if you have any kind of handheld that's not the Abacus, I see you there, Mr. Joy in the Dark, that can play PC games, you can go right now to the Epic Game Store and you can find Shadow Complex and play it. I want you all to play that game again because I feel like that game still deserves to be in the annals of one of the best Metroidvanias ever.
And I think the guy from Nathan Drake, what's the real actor's name? He's the voice, right?
Nolan
North.
He's the host. He
was the main character. Yeah,
the main protagonist. Yes. So I'm not gonna go that old school. I'm gonna go one here. So Shadow Complex. That's your homework. You need to play Shadow Complex. And because I'm in my Metroidvania bag, right? We're gonna also pick another Metroidvania for you to try. And this is another one that literally defined the genre. It defined the genre for many people. Rogue Legacy. Have you heard of that?
Ooh. I think I played that before. The name sounds very familiar. But okay, what was it for?
There's Rogue Legacy 1 and Rogue Legacy 2. Rogue Legacy is on everything at this point, even on the Abacus. It's everywhere, right? But like it defines the Metroidvania genre. It is so excellent.
Okay,
unusually excellent.
I played this. I think I want to say, dude, this game came out a while ago, right?
Yeah, Rogue Legacy 1, really old. Rogue Legacy 2. So Rogue Legacy 1, and forgive me, we're coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't have too much. We don't have all the visual aids. I should have recorded some footage for you. Maybe I'll do that next time we talk games. But Rogue Legacy 1 is pixel based, like a very pixel art, style. Rogue Legacy 2, hand drawn. So you can see they switched it up. But what makes Rogue Legacy so cool is it's based on lineage, right? So it's based on you, your dad, your uncle, your grandpa, and that's how they do it. And every iteration of the bloodline has an interesting quirk, right? So you have the Sir Mormont of whatever Game of Thrones reference, right? And he's a beast, and he holds an axe, right? But he also drunk, so every 5 minutes he burps, like every 5 throughout the thing, right? Then his son will be this scrawny little punk, but he can throw fire because he's a mage.
I remember.
He also has a weird quirk where he sees the world upside down. So the whole game you'll be upside down, like the whole thing. Or you're black and white. You see everything in black and white. He's colorblind. Every single lineage has a very weird, interesting, quirky, kind of funky thing to it that makes the game fun. It's super hard, but very, very fun game. Like if people are into it, and forgive me, I'm in vacation mode. And in vacation mode, when you play on handheld, it's about how long can you play this for? I can play Rogue Legacy on my deck for about 6 hours because it sips energy. Yeah, it sips energy. It's like you can play the whole thing on 720p, like you the whole thing, and you're playing at 60 frames. It's great. So when it comes to vacation mode and you're not sitting next to a charger all day, these are the games that I tend to gravitate towards. This and stuff like Rogue Legacy and Vampire Survivor, stuff like that. So,
dude, because these types of games are like just you can for the most part just shut your brain off and just play. This is like what I consider. And it's not to throw shade at these types of games or anything like that, but these types of indie games back then, they were like our version of mobile games. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
There were games to kind of take you away from the main AAA, AA type stuff, and just have you play something just to chill and just not really have to think about. So yeah, for sure. Okay, absolutely. So we got Rogue Legacy, either 1 or 2. Do I pick
1 or 2? I would say, me personally, I would say go with 1 because 1 is that unique like crystallized experience. But if you played 1 already, then go 2 because it's just as good.
Okay, and revisit Shadow Complex.
and revisit Shadow Complex. And if you can record footage, that'd be great. We'll talk about it next week. The reason why is because I think Fist is the spiritual successor of Shadow Complex, and everyone should play Fist. It's awesome. Hey,
Mr. Joanna Dark, that new 15 TDP update is helping out from what I'm seeing. So the ROG Ally, man, they're working on it. That's encouraging to see. So
real quick, let's take a detour. Detour, okay? And what brought about this conversation was seeing I forget the name of the YouTuber who leaked it, but so I could give him credit. But we saw on Twitter someone showing off the Project Q.
Oh yeah, okay,
right. And it made people go, oh, okay. And obviously the consensus, maybe in my pool of the streets of the Twitter streets, is this thing is DOA, right? Me personally, I'm of two minds here. Oh, and yes, shout out to you, Mr. Joanna Dark. It's Zuby Tech. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, Zuby Tech had a leak showing it off and everything else.
Can we agree though that it's kind of rough around the edges, just a little bit?
So this is what I think. All right, thinking of two minds here, real quick, before we get back to the show proper. One, I think from a consumer perspective, unless there's a magical hook that we don't know of right now, that thing is DOA. Right? Unless it's $99, which it never will be. It's
Sony. We're talking about Sony here.
Think of it easily. They literally cut a DualSense in half, and that DualSense ain't $99. The DualSense is like $80 something before you add that screen, right? And obviously behind the scenes, you have processing, you have a lot that's going to go in there and keep it minimal, right? So it's DOA from my perspective.
What's your prediction on price?
That's the key here, right? If it's anything below $250, you might have something. You might have something. Anything. If it's below $199, it'll be awesome, because then people will buy it because, hey, it's $199. It's at that price where it's almost impulse purchase. But it probably won't be. If it's $150, it's whoa, this is great, but it won't be $150. It won't, and because of that, I think it's DOA. From a
the Logitech, and we know that the Logitech G Cloud was $350. I mean, it was $299 at launch, and then $350 was the original price.
Let me be clear: the Logitech G Cloud, was a $150 phone. And how can I tell you that? Because spec for spec, there's a phone, when the G Cloud came out, there's a phone that was out in the market that had every single processor, including the RAM and the space, the storage, everything. It was literally the phone in a different body design, and that was $150, right? So Logitech added a little bit of Stankonia on top to make a little bit of that money, right? If this is the G Cloud, but with newer chips, right? I don't expect it to be far more performant or anything crazy like that, but even the G Cloud can play Switch games depending on the game you choose, right? Even the G Cloud can play certain Switch games. I don't expect the G Cloud, I don't expect PlayStation to put this thing and put like that level of decrepit tech in it, right? I expect them to be a bit more performant than that. So with that, for someone like me, bro, I'm there day one. Make it under $300. I am there. I am buying that crap. And I know, you buy. Yes. We are those who live in the world where this Vita plays everything up to PlayStation 2. I can show you multiple devices that do exactly the same. This will be a very thin and light device, but potentially with battery. We'll see how it goes. And
that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the big thing, because
the battery will be the big determining factor, but the screen is why I'm excited. Because if all it is just screen, bro,
I think that
Android on it, I am ready to hack. Let's go. This is amazing.
I'm with you if the price is right, because I would also it's all about the price right now, right? Yep. Whether I get this thing or not. But I think that the reality is that Sony, knowing the way that they are, this thing's not going to be. This thing's going to be about equal or more than the Logitech G Cloud, because they want to give again that illusion of premium. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like I guess you can say that's kind of like their flaw, but at the same time their strength. I don't know what you can call it, right? But
bro, all I will say is I just can't wait until I see it, because it's got Android on it, which means we can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I think it looks.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I think it looks complete. Please. I think it looks atrocious, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Will it be comfy? Maybe, because it's literally a DualSense split in half with a tablet in the middle. And I have a similar Xbox controller for my mobile phone that is like that. And it's pretty comfy. It really is. So the thing is that I think that the battery life, we know how the battery life, how it's just dog crap. Just like the Asus ROG Ally, right? That's definitely a weak point.
My god, the battery of that is terrible.
So streaming 1080p 60 is what they're advertising. I think that for a power user, right? If they release this thing at about $299, and that's going high. I'm going premium. This thing has to have a fantastic screen. Okay, if they go up there $299, the most,
it's that screen, man. That screen. Let's say they say HDR. Let's say they
right. And you start streaming, and you start using using things like your PC to stream it using Moonlight and using other things. Now you're starting to open up those barriers. But here's the thing: is Sony going to be stubborn, just like they were with their PSVR 2? Are they going to be stubborn to lock that sucker down? So that's the question.
I don't care. It's running Android. I do not care. If you are running Android, that is the equivalent of opening the security hole a crack. There's a reason why at my work I'm not allowed to run Android. I can only run an iPhone.
I got you.
And even that has a crack, right? Like, it is what it is, right? So I'm excited I guarantee you the green eye of jealousy will rear its head when you see Game Pass running on this thing. And
yes, I think so. Yeah, I think so. So the price will dictate whether I buy or not. I'm telling you, if this thing comes out at $199, it's an instant buy. $250, you got me to think. $299, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit until I can get to that $199, $249 range. That's the range for me to bite.
Oh, and I see you there, Mr. Kirby Louise. He says it's a skill issue. His Ally gets similar battery to his deck. No, it doesn't, sir. Because even if you lock it at 7TDP, the game you play on the Ally won't last as long as the deck. The deck just has better low TDP performance than the Ally does.
Kirby Louise, you know this man is paid by Gabe. Why are you bringing that over here, man? You know this man needs to advertise the Steam Deck. Come on, man. Why what are you trying to do here? Yeah, we don't want to stop his income. Come on.
Well, actually, not to be outdone, the reason why I'm so salty is because the only device that I know of that right now can play the Jedi Survivor like freely with no issues is this guy when it works. But
I got a question. Because I heard you and Everborn going into that, right? And I think that you had said that that's an AMD issue because they haven't updated their series, their 700 series.
No 7000 series, 700 series chips have received any kind of driver updates.
Okay, but I thought that the A01K Zoe had the same chip, the same. It doesn't, or it does?
Yes. Well, it does and it doesn't. They're all a variant of the same chip. Right, it's all a variant of the same chip, and to my understanding, the Asus kind of like did a little bit of something to make the low TDP performance a little bit better. But even still, in that instance, it's not as performant as the deck. And yes, call me a Gabe stan. It's fine.
You're definitely deck verified. You are deck verified on the show.
I'm deck verified. Yeah. So even at those low TDPs. Even though like the standard 7000 series is not as performant by like a little bit than the Z1, than the Z1 Extreme, right? They're pretty much comparable, right? And I see Kirby Louise talking about it. Yeah, I saw that as well. Rumor has it the end of this month is when the 700 series chips will get any kind of support from AMD, right? So we shall see. But yeah, no, I'm excited to bring more of this stuff into the zeitgeist, the handheld gaming and all that, because I think it brings up a very interesting conversation. And actually that's why I wanted to like our conversation for this week, right? I want to talk about you get what you pay for. Okay. And I think it's interesting because like a lot of this talk has happened because of like, because of Steam Deck now being out there. Oh, is there a world where I can possibly play Starfield on the ROG Ally? Stuff like that, right? And it's getting folks to start thinking beyond the whole, hey, consoles do this, PCs do that, right? The handhelds have kind of muddied the waters a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to have a conversation with you and see your thoughts on that, because I feel like it has both done a service in a way to broaden people's horizons, but also a disservice in another way to make people expect a lot more from the toasters they have in their living rooms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, all right. So am I happy that, there's a lot of people that aren't missionary gamers anymore? Yes, because we have, we see a bunch of people in the community.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a quick pause and say, until we get visual representation, we do not want him to use that reference anymore, because I don't know what he's talking about.
Too bad. That's my reference. So we got a lot of people getting out of that little missionary gaming stage that they're in.
Yeah.
Okay, we see people like Mav. Mav from the community just picked up a PC. Congrats, Mav.
Yes,
PCMR.
Mav,
you did. He didn't want to settle. He didn't want to settle anymore. He doesn't want to settle for Starfield running at 30 because whatever hardware limitations. Me and you can go all day with this topic. We think that there's a lot of snake oil involved in a lot of these discussions. But it is what it is, right? That's the world that we live in. So if you want to pay more to get more, that's exactly what you need to do. Okay. And you need to put your money where your mouth is and just upgrade yourself or move on to something else. If instead of just complaining all the time, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
So the discussion this week that I've had personally on Twitter has been anytime I've noticed one thing, and yes, this is very this is led by fanboys, obviously, right? Anytime that anyone, myself or anyone else in the community I've seen talk positively about the Xbox Series S, for example, you're met with this instant backlash of, oh, it's a potato, it's holding back gaming. And I'm sorry, like, we would need to have an intelligent conversation about this. So I'm kind of glad that you're bringing this into the light, because someone like me, you're gonna have a better understanding of how the way that these things work, right? From where I come from, the console world, where I've gamed my whole life, I'm used to, hey, you know what? Consoles are supposed to be comparative or just a little bit ahead of the time when they release to PCs. We haven't been in that world in a very long time, since the Xbox One PS4 days, right? So the thing is that I think that a lot of people still have that kind of tunnel vision where I'm hearing crazy things, on Twitter, on these Twitter streets. I'm hearing that if the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out, it's going to be doing 8K gaming. Like, come on, guys. Like, you really think that a console that's going to be under $1,000 is going to be giving you 8K gaming? Can your 4090 handle 8K gaming? And how much did you pay for that sucker? Okay. Like, let's be real here, and we're going to get a bit slanderous, because we have to call these people out. We have to, slap some people with reality. But let's
slap people in the face with reality a little.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, get real, but let's get down to the basics here.
So all right. Like, I hear what you're saying. And while we have this conversation, let me and this will be a very American centric conversation, because I'll use American big box stores, or you know what? Let me use something like Newegg. Let's use Newegg as an example, right? And let's be clear here. Let me say it right from jump before anybody jumps down at me and says there's more to it than that. Absolutely, there is. There's absolutely more to it than that. We're being very high level right now. We're being very derivative right now. It's not meant to be like, my bad. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. My bad. X gonna give it to you. Exactly. So what I think we should do while framing this conversation, let's at least talk about or look at some prices, right? Because everybody says, PC versus console and all of that, right? So, the Abacus, the Nintendo Switch. What is the price of a Nintendo Switch these days? I was afraid I'd have to go buy one since mine was roasted, but luckily I didn't have to rebuy one. So let me get this on the screen here, and you regale me and tell me what the price of a Nintendo Switch is, and I'll look it up here on Newegg.
Yeah,
and we'll
we're talking about non-OLED, right? Yeah, non-OLED is $300.
Like $300.
OLED is $349. Yeah, and then you have, but remember, you also have the other one that's $199. That's stuck in the missionary mode of handheld.
Oh yeah. The missionary mode of handheld.
So that's the thing.
Just in general, right? $300, right? And let's say for that same amount of money, right? Grandma or whoever is going to go to the store to go buy you something to play games on. Again, before we start climbing down people's throats, right? It's clearly a Switch offers different value proposition than a desktop does. Obviously, there's handheld, there's all of the various, right? And even in that world, I could go in here and show you the Retroid Pocket 3, which costs $299 or $150 or whatever, right? And all of them will perform very, very, very admirably, depending on the exact thing that you're trying to do with it, right? Like, I've been trying to talk people out of this step ladder mentality of, well, this is better than this is better than that, because like people will right now, people will say, I see Mr. Joanna Dark in the chat. You're right. You can never talk smack about the Switch to Mr. Joanna Dark. Why? Because that thing's got a great library. It's beyond reproach. I have no issues with him saying so, right? But I bet every single one here in this $299 to $199 to $299 range will smoke that device.
Of course, yeah.
Twice on Sunday.
And let's be real though. Let's with all the slander that we give towards the Switch, let's also give it a little bit of praise it deserves, right? They've been able to release games like The Witcher 3 on that thing. So kudos to Nvidia, kudos to Nintendo, and kudos to those developers that were able to squeeze so much performance out of something that wasn't supposed to be. There's a lot of context there.
There's a lot of context there. Because this is contending with a full base OS, whether it be Linux or Windows, in addition to then you profiling for yourself, because that's what they do on the Windows, on the PC side, and obviously on the Switch side, it's you're coding to the metal, you're squeezing every inch out of the hardware. The developer is really doing his best to get the best performance out of the stock hardware that's been that way forever, right? And on PC side. Right. It's a moving target. There's a lot there. This is not an exact science. I know the internet's going to come for you. That's not what this is about. It's just the idea of, I want to break the concept and the idea that, you have 720p, you suck. You're 900p, you're better. You're 1080p, oh, that's better. 1440p is better than 10. 4K is better than...
It's setting expectations. And you need to, and people need to be real with the amount of money that you're spending. The expectation needs to be a reality. You can't think that you're going to get yourself a Switch and you're going to be getting ray tracing. And
it's interesting you bring that up, sir. It's interesting you bring that up, because how much is a Switch?
$300.
$300, right? How much is a Series S?
Yeah, $300.
Which one gives you ray tracing? Because you can
supposedly the Series S, but the developers are kind of they kind of need to pick up the slack a little bit there.
That's my point. So like you're 100% correct in where I'm heading with this, right? These devices can do what they can do. What you choose to do with them is what you choose to do with them. And because you, developer, choose not to use it in the best way that then can show it's the best of its performance, right? Unfortunately, because this is a dog and pony show type of a world we live in, where consumers have to be spoken to and taught things rather than them investigating and finding out, right? Then they it's in their best interest to let you know that, oh yeah, that hardware sucks, when in fact it was, well, this developer only has a finite amount of resources. Well, the market leader is on the other side and they do things differently. Why would they spend the time and energy needed to make this thing come out the way you want it to come out when not as many people play there as they do on the other side? Like that context matters, right?
Right.
But
it does.
consumers,
and it's very important.
Who cares? It's
not,
you know.
And that's the thing, right? Because here's the problem, right? And this is what I got a lot of backlash on this week on my Twitter post. We had someone in the community that's not very nice to Xbox all the time. He posted something about the Series S, and I retweeted it, basically standing up to the Series S, because I'm someone that currently has a Series S, and I still put time on that thing, even though I have a 4070, a Series X, and it's a fully, in my opinion, not a developer. I don't know, anything about tech, but I can't say that from what I play, what I see, what I play, the experience is on par with, with a lot of it's good enough is what I'm trying to say here. I paid $299 and I'm getting, I feel, $299's worth of value out of this thing, right? But then you have people coming in and saying, oh, but it's holding back next gen gaming. And I'm scratching my head kind of like, how is that possible if the CPUs on both the Series S and the X are identical? The only difference is that doesn't make any sense to me.
And so this is why, Mr. John Wolf, this is why you are cut above, sir. This is why you are a man among men, because most people don't understand scalability. Scalability in gaming is very important, and that's why I really appreciate what you just said. In the gaming space, right? And this is what dogged something like Cyberpunk. In the gaming space, you can make graphics look better, more performant, shiny, as much as you want, right? But what you can't do is you can't make people smarter, right? They are smart or they're not smart. It's complexity in world building, right? You can like, people have tried to fudge it. Like, for instance, Cyberpunk, for example, you can like dial the crowds up or down. You can do that. Right. But you can't dial it so that, if you have a more performant processor, now you can follow the NPC all the way home, watch them play with their kids, go to dinner, and then have fun on the weekends, right? You want something where it's so performant that any NPC in the world has their own life, seemingly, and you can follow them and they go do their own thing, right? Red Dead 2. Exactly. That comes from the CPU. That you cannot do. If you have a powerful CPU that's able to handle all of that, right? You can handle all of that. Even if your GPU is not as performant, right? You can still do all of that. Physics and all of that. Look at Starfield. Think of Starfield, where the processing power of the CPU is far more important than the GPU. Don't get me wrong, GPU is important. Landscapes, graphic fidelity, the whole nine, right? But as has been explained for a game like Starfield, where every device can be picked up, can be moved, can be placed. And then when you place it there, that's right. And then when you place it where it can be placed, the game will remember that forever because you picked it up from its original source and moved it to someplace else. All the while, everything else is still working. And if you go to a planet and there's sky, you'd still see clouds and you see, all of that. That's where CPU processing comes from, right? And in that instance, the CPU processor in the Series S is perfect. It can handle just about the same complexities as a Series X can. They downclocked it a little bit for cost-saving measures, but if you were to Google the Series S variant of the processor right now, like AMD's variant, because all of these people go, oh, they built them custom. Yeah, they built them custom, but if you really look, you can find the retail versions of it. Yeah, maybe they've added a component here or removed a component there. Kirby Louise, of course, in the chat are already speaking to it. The AMD, the Ryzen 3700X, right? That is the closest version that you can find. And I love his comment that's basically, I was, I started going back and forth with some individuals because I started calling the devs that I started saying, hey, look, if these devs are coming out and they're saying that they're having issues with the Series S, it might be a skill issue that they don't understand the tools, okay? Or they don't have the resources. You know what though? Even in that instance, I think smoke is on Microsoft there. right? Because let's be clear. I know in my bones, reading the tech specs, reading the speeds and feeds, that what you see, this thing can do far more than it's been capable of, right? It is 100% a skill set issue, but it's not on them to have to get their skills up. It's on you, Microsoft, to show them why it's worth their time to do so. I call it the Windows issue.
I'm with
my
you.
Analogy.
I'm with you, and I'll let you finish real fast. But my pushback to you right away is that it's in the developer's best interest to figure it out, so that they can release the best possible product.
And they are, because right now the game in town until recently was PlayStation. So even if it's not the greatest thing on Xbox, the pool where everybody is performing. That's where they care. Right?
That we can agree on.
Here's my analogy, right? For a long time, I was one of the first, because I tend to be one of those ridiculous nerds. I was one of the first people that had a tablet, like a touchscreen tablet that was Windows capable, right? You know, now every device you get, you can touch.
Those were the Windows 8 days, right?
Windows 8 days, that's right, right? But my Windows 8 device had a lot of overhead, a lot of CPU. I had a 16 gig tablet in those days, which was unheard of because the average RAM was 8. Actually, the average RAM was 4. 8 was performant. I had 16. I just happened to have a device that had really interesting things on it, right? So when Windows 8 released, right, and it came to the masses, everybody was like, oh my God, this thing's a piece of crap. Oh my God, it's terrible. And I'm just like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. They released this device for this type of device. If you have the overhead, if you have the touchscreen device, it is perfect, right? But egg was on their face because they didn't say that to the community. At the time, I was working for a tech company that makes laptops, which you probably have heard of. I won't say their name loudly. They were literally just taking the old laptops that were being built for like Windows 98, right? And just putting Windows 10, Windows 7 on, Windows 8 on them. Why? Because, who cares, right? That's what they were doing. Until Microsoft decided, you know what, screw it. We are no longer going to let you, Hewlett-Packard, let you, Dell, let you, all the various companies, and of the companies I mentioned, I worked for one of them. I won't tell you which one.
Did it have a cow as
No, it wasn't.
No, okay.
Anyway,
that was the cow. The cow computers.
At some point, Microsoft got sick and tired of others selling their narrative for them. Oh, these Windows machines suck. So what do? They released the Surface devices, which gives you comparable hardware to software. Like, you know, this is what it does. Hey, with it comes Windows Hello. You touch it, you look at it, it logs you in. Everybody was like, oh, Windows. If you leave partners to define your story, they will never define it the way you want to define it. Understood. So it's up to you to do so. And in the Windows space, they learned that lesson, right? To me, from what I can see, in the console space, they have not learned that lesson. They haven't, right? They still keep letting what do you call it? Third parties define them, right? What was the first game you saw on the Series X? Like a Dragon,
Hellblade, right?
One of the worst.
Oh no, Hellblade.
No, Like a Dragon. The game
you're right.
Play.
Oh, running on Series X hardware.
Like a Dragon. Okay. One of the worst engines, even on PC. What do you think that's going to define, right? And of course, the big pool is the PlayStation pool. So that pool will always look better. It will always play better because they spend the time necessary because it's in your best monetary interest to make that place shine.
I agree with about 90, maybe 85, 90% of everything you said.
Give me some pushback. Yes.
But here's the pushback, okay? If this was a widespread issue of the Series S, and let's circle back to the PC world because we're on a PC show, right?
We're on a PC show, for sure.
We know that these same developers have to code for a game on a wide spectrum of graphic cards. Okay,
that's right.
And and this conversation's got the Latino heat rising a little bit. Okay, because here's the thing that's a little bit here's the thing that's a little bit frustrating from some of the comments that I get pushed back on Twitter. They're basically saying that one SKU one Xbox SKU is holding back all of gaming from being pushed to the next generation. Okay, and what I will say to that is, why don't you go tell that to the guy still running his 1060, his 2080 Super? Why don't you go talk to them?
See, that's your problem there, Mr. John Wolf. You are contending with people who don't know better, right? You're battling with Honda Civic drivers, trying to tell them that they. I'm sorry,
hey man, I'm all about the need for speed life, man.
But that's family. What you're doing right now. That's what you're doing family, right now. Baby. You're sitting there going, but come on, man. The Tesla can go 0 to 60. They don't know that. They don't know that ish.
No, because look. I what I've come to the conclusion is that on X or Twitter X, whatever the hell this thing is called now, the best thing to do is to respond to people, just to laugh at them and piss them off and to move on.
They troll
exactly. That's the way that I kind of counter that.
Look. The reason why I say this, right? The reason why I say, oh, come on, these people aren't to be dealt with in a real way when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? The reason why I say that is because, to me, the biggest misnomer is consoles defining generations.
Yeah.
That's the biggest misnomer. I'm sorry. We are here to speak truth, right? Consoles don't define generations. PCs do.
That's true.
PCs always have. But they're able to define those generations because you pay a crap ton of money for that bleeding edge, right? You heard ray tracing after PC had like regurgitated that many iterations ago, right? In movies, ray tracing has been a part for a long time. You didn't know what it was, but you were watching all these Pixar movies going, wow, why is that beautiful? Because it was rasterized ray tracing, right? This is real-time ray tracing being performed live on a card. But even that is so bleeding edge that your 4090 can barely do that unless you have very good upscaling techniques.
And here's one key thing that I want you to do for me. I sent you a chat that I want you to highlight real fast, because this is basically what this conversation comes down to right here. Go to our private chat and just highlight it real fast. That was from, and I'll tell you right now, Storm Blessed at 7:56. I thought he had a great comment that he made. Okay, I just didn't want to interrupt what you were saying.
No, please speak. So I'll find his comment. Yeah.
So his comment basically says, that on his 4090, he can't play Call of Duty 2 Modern Warfare like he can on a Series S. So let's circle back a little bit, and that's what this is all about, right? It's setting expectations, and it's understanding that us as gamers, we make concessions based on the games we want to play. Okay, the same gamer that is sitting there comparing $300 of his money, should I get a Switch or should I get a PC? It depends on who you're asking that question to, because the problem is that consumer needs to understand that if he gets a Switch because he wants to play Tears of the Kingdom, and that's more important to him than having a PC that opens up like this, just a plethora of other possibilities. Are you willing to trade that for that one game that you want to play? And once you invest, it's understanding that what you're exactly. It's understanding that the Switch isn't going to have what a PC can offer you at $300, right? And I think that that's the thing that people they always get wrong. It's like they pocket watch others and they try to tell you that, hey, you're $300, you could have done this or that, right? And
but there is a key here, though. There is a key here, and I don't mean to cut you. I'll let you continue because you're on to something. There is a key here that I think people should stop fighting on. Look at the price of the 3700X here.
It's basically the price of a Switch. $30 more. Yep.
Exactly. Right. It's the price of your Series S.
Yep.
Basically. Right. It's got a bit more bells and whistles, but it's the price of a Series S right now. Right. One chip versus this device that sits in front of your living room that then with a controller that then gives you access to all these games. Right. There are concessions to be made here. Right. And when concessions are made, it's not a bad thing. Right. Because again, you've heard me say this a billion times. I will never watch The Matrix on Netflix. I gotta whip out the Blu-ray for that. But if you do, because you have a quick chance to go do that, what's wrong with that? Right?
Nothing. There's absolutely
it's
nothing.
Almost like we live in a world where they go, oh, you watch that on VHS, you must suck. Oh, you watch that on streaming, you're terrible. Oh, the only way to watch that is to watch that on Blu-ray. Who gives a crap how you watch it?
And it's the conversation, Kay, has changed so much throughout the years, right? Where when you owned a 360 compared to a PS3, the conversation wasn't about the performance of the game, really. It was more about what you were playing on screen. The Super Nintendo compared to the Sega Genesis, me and my friends, we used to compare Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat, the version between both, and why one was better, why we thought the other one was better, where things looked better. And you wanted both. That's the thing, that at the end of the day, you really, as a gamer, wanted both, right? And I think that we've entered this age of just haterade that gets served, all right, freely by people. It's like they just want to take a crap on everybody's parade. They just want to let you know how crappy your system is, why it can't do something. And it's like, at the end of the day, these machines are more than capable, and they're priced according to what they can do, and that's the expectations that you need to spend your money on. Like, you can't, like, remember that we had the conversation about Starfield on one of Boom's shows, that I was heated. All right, the Latino heat got to me that day because I was pissed. He was flaring. Dude, I was pissed that Starfield was not going to be, I'm sorry, Redfall. God, Redfall. Even saying that name, that game is hard. Whoever defends that game, oh my God, guys, like, I'm sorry, that game is horrible, but whatever. But if you enjoy it, kudos to you. That game was terrible. All right, but Redfall, I was adamantly concerned and upset that game was going to be 30 FPS on console. And Mr. K Asante, I owned the 3070. And what did I do that same week? What did you see me do?
Yeah, he was like, screw it, this thing's garbage, and he upgraded to a 40 series.
I got a 40 series card. I put my money where my mouth is because I didn't want to settle. That was my lesson learned.
Well, but see, this is the point, though. For you, that was important, right? I will not watch The Matrix on Netflix. I will break out the Blu-ray. It is important to me.
Retri, what's wrong with you, Retri? Come on, man. Say Redfall is fire.
It may be, to you, it may be a thing where, come on, I could just, it's no big deal. And everyone gets that opportunity to do so, right?
Right.
But the whole Redfall debate was a little unfortunate because I was ready to be like, ha, you heathens. I was ready to do that. But let's be fair and let's be, let's keep it a buck, as they say. They did promise to the point where it was even on the box that says 60 frames, and then they changed it last minute, right?
Yeah.
So the smoke is genuine and warranted, right? My only purport, like my only reasoning for wanting to speak on this issue and have people hear me is, I want people to stop listening to the marketers because they're always lying to you.
True.
They're selling you a Honda Civic with all of its convenience and telling you it's a rocket ship. Like, stop. Because the minute you take it hook, line, and sinker, that's when you go, well, why can't it play this game?
Because, and me and you learned, you learned something, and me and you not learned something. We talked about this earlier in the day today during lunchtime. We talked about this, and that's that if the PS4 Pro comes out, and we talked about this on Retri and Web Dave show yesterday. K Asante, I think me and you are in agreement. We're looking at a 30 to 40% bump here in performance, and they're going to sell it to you like a dream. So
yeah, I will say when the PS5 Pro comes out, like right now, today, the Series X is about 20 to 30% more performant, right? AMD Smart Shift does overtime, letting them like hit heights that you would think they would hit, right? Which is awesome. Like, no, I'm not taking anything away from them. They are able to shoot their shot even better than you'd think with lesser performing hardware, right? So that's excellent. So because of that, I think that when they do close the gap, because based on all the rumors that we're hearing now it's not like, oh, we're just gonna give you a pool of resources. No, we're giving you dedicated ray trace ray tracing cores now. We're giving you higher memory bandwidth now. So all those things that we kept going, hey guys, this is snake oil. Yeah, they're filling those gaps in. And when they do, we already know that their developers are at the highest clip. So I expect it to be not only that, there's that, and they also tend to be more cinematic in their presentation. So
why should I believe them?
Virtue of it.
But why should I believe him when on the PS5 box it says 8K right now?
But this is my point. They were able to lie to you about a game like Ratchet and Clank, and you by and large believed them because it was beautiful as hell. Right?
You want to know why?
If they can do that with less performing hardware. When they do have good performing hardware, they will really take it there. They can.
You want to know why they get away with it?
A game like The Last of Us 2 with Xbox level hardware. Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
But you want to know why they get away with it? Because number one, the consumer's uninformed. That's first and foremost.
Exactly, 100%.
Okay,
100%, yes.
So that's first and foremost.
And they literally harp on that, the fact that you don't know better, so they can say whatever they want to you, and you'll just take it.
Right. Yeah. But don't get me wrong though, and I need to say this as well. The value though that you do get is there because the performance to dollars ratios, it's good for what you're getting. We're not saying that either. But the problem is that when you're telling me, right, telling me that Redfall, is performing at 30 FPS on a machine that I know is more than capable, I'm sorry, I'm blaming the devs on that one. And the devs and the resources.
Well, I mean, like, again,
sorry.
Like I've said this on many times, and we'll move on after this. I've said this many times, and I'll say it one more time. If you see it happen with Fable, all the smoke, because it wasn't started as a third-party game. If you see it happen with Starfield, understand it was started as a third-party game. So was Redfall. So was freaking Avowed. So I think maybe even so was Senua's Saga. Like the games that were incubating before they were purchased are not games you can expect that they use all the hardware, because it requires a lot of overhead, a lot of startup to decide that, okay, this is the hardware I'm going to use it for, right? So they'll do their best, and I'm not expecting them not to. They'll do their best. But what they're doing is they are Xboxizing a third-party game. And what most third-party games do, they focus on where most players are, which is PlayStation. And they use Vulkan, and they have a different development process. So after that, you're just porting to Xbox. So you'll never be able to use the Xbox's stuff from jump. So my smoke is, Microsoft, you are not a third party. Where's your example? Where's your Surface brand? Where's your example to show, hey, anytime you guys have smoke for the Series S, see this thing? That's the Series S. Now shut
this is what I'll tell people that don't want to settle. Get yourself a PC. Because if conversations like this get you riled up or get you frustrated with the manufacturers, get yourself a PC, because honestly, it's not worth the time of day, because we're being all limited by what the output that they want us to have. So,
and you know what?
And that's something I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately.
You're even more right about that there, John, because right now, and I see y'all in the chat, I see you Abacus gang out there in the chat, right? I will say Tears of the Kingdom, awesome game, great game, right? But to your point about them being the marketers dictating terms for you, right? Mark my words. You will hear this sooner or maybe later, hearing that, hey, we have now a new Switch coming, right? You're going to hear, now play it in 4K 60, the way it's meant to be played. Oh my God. Unless
we've unlocked the power of the Switch.
Yeah, and they'll get you to buy it again.
And unless
you're like us,
I'm a sucker.
Unless you're like us, and you used that thing a long time ago and have seen the benefits of 4K 60 since day one.
Yeah.
Right. In a world where you are not an informed consumer, they get to double dip on you because they charge you 30 frames per second. And now
don't get me wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and you, we're not gonna sound like hypocrites, because me and you are in there day one, because that's just who we are. We're gamers, right? So we're gonna buy. But the truth is,
we're still there We're still there to inform the consumer and let them know when snake oil is being sold to them.
Yes, and the thing is that you are correct. I've already experienced Tears of the Kingdom at 1440p at 60. So I've been in that world already, and I know how nice it is.
And but no one else who can do that. If you can't do that, you're gonna wait and buy another piece of hardware just to experience that for the first time.
But here's the thing, right? I am incapable of going to someone that owns a Switch and laughing in their face that I did that because they only spent $300. Because I know. No. And that's the thing, because that's what differentiates, I guess you could say, this show from others, right? From that PCMR mentality, that stigma. Not at all. If that's what you chose to play on and you are willing to sacrifice, number one, because maybe you don't have the resources. Number two, you just wanted to get yourself a Switch because you like the portability or whatever the case may be. It's good enough to get you where you
we're
need to
here
go.
to inform you that these are all choices that you make and not requirements that they try to force feed you. Because in their world, these are requirements. You want to play Tears of the Kingdom? We got a device for you. It's called the Switch. No, it's called PC, ladies and gentlemen, and it can play it better than the Switch ever can.
I got a question. For you. Right.
What you got?
I got a question for you. I know what the answer is, and you know, and you're gonna know what the answer is, but maybe you might surprise me and the listeners, right?
Sure.
Okay, right now, a storm, God forbid, blows away all your consoles, everything done. And the
don't
insurance
put that
company,
evil onto the world, Ricky.
No, okay, no, I know, but I'm just for hypothetical, right? Let's say insurance company tells you, hey, you can only have $300. We're only giving you $300 for your claim, and you need to spend it on a gaming, whatever gaming console you want, whatever machine you want. What you picking, Asante, with your $300?
$300?
That's it. That's all you get.
Probably a PC.
Exactly, because we know better.
Because $300 now, if it had to be a console, it'd be a Series S, because then I could still do retro gaming with it, because you can go into dev mode and do that. But $300, it has to be a PC. Actually, look, and it's apt you bring that up. This is a website called Retroid. They make a device called the Retroid Pocket. It's all about old school gaming here, like Coleco all the way up to maybe Switch, maybe PS2, maybe PS3, right? Depending on the version you buy, right? And look at the prices. $199, $99, $180, $150, right? They all have like chips in there that's literally meant for like mobile processing. But because this is a different kind of consumer, that consumer is not trained on that step ladder of 4K better than 1080.
Right. Exactly.
So they can sell you this, and you yourself have value in it because, hey, this is my NES device. I'll play a bunch of NES games. Oh, this is my Switch device. Or this is the device that I can use to play all my retros up to a certain extent, right? We need to, as consumers, understand what the wool they're trying to pull over your eyes, so that you yourself can make a far more informed decision in that, right? And I think when you do that, right, you want to play your game on the Series S, go ahead and do it. You want to watch The Matrix on Netflix, that is your choice to make.
Or at
just
least
understand the concessions you're making when you do so.
Right. Or at least not get disappointed when those shortcomings come your way, because you already know what it is that you're getting into, and if something doesn't go your way, you kind of understand the world that you're living in, right? So, and Mr. Joanna Dark, you are absolutely wrong. Tears of the Kingdom is best experienced through Yuzu, because nobody likes their swords breaking. Nobody likes running out of stamina. Like, who plays like that? Really?
Yes. All right. So let me catch up on a couple super chats, because there have been some that are here. We are super, super appreciative. Thank you so much for the super chats and the support. The brother man. I'm waiting for the day I hear him in a game. My heart will swell with pride because he deserves it. The smooth one, Mr. Silent Cypher, in here with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says you have to pay the Nintendo fan tax for Switch. Yeah, it's kind of like that Apple logo tax, right?
I think they call it. I think the official title for it, I think, is the cardboard tax. I think that's what I think that's what they call it.
And then he comes back with some slander with a $5 super chat. Mr. Silent Cypher. He says he's still waiting to see his Xbox Series X eat monsters for breakfast. Yeah, you and me both, sir. You and me both. You know, I think that's one that they're still trying to live down. Like, come on now, absolutely ridiculous. You know, and the great. We are so appreciative that he's here. The man himself from the Xbox expansion pass, Luke Law, is here. And he's here with a $2 super chat, just showing support.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you checking us out. And actually, believe it or not, I was gonna call an audible based on his on something that he put out, and I'll do that real quick before we go, because we're at the end of our time. But I wanted to do that real quick because on the Xbox expansion pass, which you haven't checked out, you definitely need to. He has a YouTube channel, you know, Apple, Android, all your various podcasting services. It's in my rotation, and it should be in yours as well. He recently interviewed the folks and brought attention to Antstream. I don't know if you've heard of this Antstream thing.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Right? But saw it on Xbox, and I want to talk about it because it's also on PC. What do you think of this? This is basically, and this is the last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here. This is basically what iTunes was to MP3s. This is what they're trying to do for ROMs.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You pay for it, and you're running off to the races. What do you think?
I'm excited about it because it opens up, you know, it highlights the importance of retro gaming, and you know that me and you are advocates for older games. I like you know the functionality that they're adding to these games, like, you know, leaderboards and achievements and stuff like that. I think that's really, really cool. The problem that I see with services like
Hit
this
him with the smoke. Hit him with the smoke. Go ahead.
Is number one, that is streaming. All right. And that's not such a biggie, but number one, I mean, it's a thing. It's streaming. And the second thing for me that kind of that doesn't have me so excited for it is the limitation that they get hit up with because of the licensing and all the challenges that we know that come with, you know, trying to emulate, you know, these older games. Like for example, is this service ever going to have Aliens versus Predator, that classic Capcom arcade game? It depends on the licensing.
Maybe they did talk about post launch content. So just a quick aside for those who aren't aware, there's an Xbox side and there's a PC side. This is basically a cloud streaming subscription service. But here's the issue, and here's where my smoke comes in. On console, $80 and it's yours. Lifetime license, you own it, right? And then more games get added. And yes, this is for the gray beards of gaming, because these games are old. I'm talking Earthworm Jim. You see it on the screen right now, right? But on the console, on the PC side, there is no lifetime subscription. You can only pay, I think, $60 per year or something to that equivalent, either 40 or $60 per year. But you have to keep paying per year to keep having access to it, right? I personally don't think it's the cloud part is bad. I actually think the cloud part's great. I think that's a good part in here, because cloud streaming tends to be problematic for AAA games. You know, the big monster hundreds of gigs that you have to download. The whole game will load into memory in 2 seconds. You have the whole game in your memory in 2 seconds, right? So having it be cloud, awesome, right? No need to worry about latency, right? Metal Slug X will load into the whole game will be in your memory in like a second and a half.
And it doesn't take up any space on your hard drive, which is another thing. It's another, you know, advantage to it. I would like for them to be in a world where you can download locally or stream it. You know, maybe they'll get there one day. I don't know. Okay. But the thing that is it great? By the way, a quick aside, shout out to Luke Lore. He says the Lifetime Edition is not available forever. It's an offer for Xbox fans for a limited time, and then it'll be year by year. Wow.
From a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. I mean, why would you have a subscription service that you're adding new content to and have a lifetime license? I get that.
I have bias coming into this conversation because you know, Kay, I've been working on retro, on getting all the emulators running on the Asus ROG Ally on my PC. I have both communicating to a point now where if I'm playing a game on the ROG Ally and I save, I can pick up the save on my PC. So I
man
have like
built his own. He built his own cloud service, ladies and gentlemen, for his game saves.
So the thing is that honestly, this is great for people that don't want to invest in doing the research and all that. It gives you, you know, there's something there which is nice, and the fact that Xbox is allowing this, that also shows progress.
I'll do you one better, sir. It's not that they're allowing this. They're not allowing this. Their service is backing it. This is on Azure Cloud.
That's great. That's great news.
This is awesome.
Yes.
This is absolutely awesome. I think this for cloud streaming, this is how it should go. Don't go AAA, because AAA you're gonna saturate your bandwidth. The highway gets flooded very, very quickly. But in this world, all your old school hits, your great favorites, it loads into memory in seconds. You can start tournaments, you can do online stuff, do stuff that these games were never capable in the first place. I think this is freaking awesome. I want to see a world where we have Ultimate Mortal Kombat tournaments. And when I say Ultimate Mortal Kombat, I'm talking about SNES Ultimate Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yes,
right?
That's the best
everyone
version.
will be fast as heck because everything is in the cloud and the loading of it, it's like a mega and a half the whole game. You know?
Right.
So I think this is absolutely excellent. You know, go ahead.
Oh no, what I was gonna say is I love the concept of it and I love the idea of it. The only thing again that scares me is a licensing issue. So where I'm able to be a little bit creative and go online and kind of find things that, you know, that aren't that from companies that just don't exist anymore. Okay, or I rip a disc, you know, one of my old discs or something like that. Their limitation is going to be on stuff like that, which is very unfortunate because I heard or I read somewhere, Kay, that there's 85% of games are not available to be purchased or played anymore.
Yes.
That's a shame. So we really, you know what? Even though I'm probably not going to use this because I have my own stuff, I'm going to get the lifetime license to support it because this is important. This is important.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
I really like this.
Down with it. Yeah, I think this is a great move by them. I think this is excellent. More and more folks should be like championing stuff like this. Yeah, those of us that are about the emulation life will always have different methods to do so, but it shouldn't be about like this. Should be able to bring more folks in, right? Make it easy for anybody to access it and be able to play any games that they want. I think this is excellent, and I'm super excited for anybody.
There's no negatives. There's no negatives here. I mean, I'm nitpicking. You know,
my only negative, like you, I want to be able to access this on the console, and then when I'm mobile, I want to be able to install this on my ROG Ally or my A1 Pro or whatever, and have the same account and the same saves and the same achievements follow me. Right now, the association, the account association, is only on the PC side.
Wow, right? So it's not on the cloud
side. Yes, on the console side, it's only associated to your hardware. So when you sign up for that $80 account on the PC, on the Xbox, when you go and try and log in, it doesn't recognize you have an account on the PC. You have to sign up to a new account.
No, that's not the way to go.
That's the only part. Which, hey man, they're a small company. They may not have the infinite resources. I get all that, right? But that to me is a little bit of the black eye that needs to be worked out. But man, I'm super excited for this thing. I'm signing up. I want to play Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. I used to watch the cartoon when I was a kid. This is for sure. This is for hashtag graybeards. You know
what I hope that these people are doing, and they get in contact to some of the contacts that what's that company that they make those retro arcade machines?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
The one up machines. Yes.
If they're able to kind of follow their lead and start getting X-Men versus Street Fighter, you know, all of these classic Capcom arcade games and you know and you know all the games, all the real big hitters, dude, they're gonna have something big on their hands. It's just let's see. It's tricky sometimes with this stuff.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is our PSA. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. If you're a gamer of a certain age, if you want your kids to remember where you came from and the games you used to play, I'm talking Asteroids, man. I'm talking Defenders. I'm talking Joust, like old school Joust.
Or if you don't have the knowledge to do emulation stuff, this is perfect too. You know,
this really like bridges the gap for that. So no, I think this is awesome, and I think more of us should champion it and hope that they get into more of that stuff. So yes, shout out to the folks who did this, and once again, salute to the Xbox Expansion Pass. It was a great interview you did, sir. You know, more folks should check it out, and people should check out your stuff as well. So I think we've done it. We're about about an hour and a half into this thing. I think we're about done. What do you think there, Mr. John Wolf? Anything else to put out there?
No, man, I just, thank you for everybody in the chat. You guys have been interacting. It's great always seeing familiar faces. Silent Cypher has been, commenting, Retri. So many good people, man, always come to our show, and we really appreciate the feedback.
The man,
and this is for sure. Kirby Louise is always here, Mr. Joanna Dark, and Gerald Mack, of course. And honestly, guys, it's just one of the things that I love about doing this show with you, Mr. K. Asante, is that it's like if we're just sitting here, man, and we're having a conversation with all these good folks, and that's good, man. It's always it's very engaging, and I'm so glad that we started doing this, and we're gonna keep it going strong. And next episode, I'm gonna throw this out there already. I want to have Mr. Kirby Louise on the show, okay, officially, because this week you were getting back from vacation, so the schedule was a little out of whack there. But let's get him on, because the man is very knowledgeable when it comes to graphic cards, and I want to pick your brain and his brain with something called VRAM, okay, which is a hot debate. Do you have enough VRAM? Do you need to assure yourself of having a lot of VRAM for the future? And that's something I want to pick both of your brains on, all right, for next episode.
Understood.
Kirby Louise, we're going to be sending you the invite for next week, brother.
Absolutely. No, that's great. A quick housekeeping note from me. Another cheap plug. Episode 100 of the GCP is this Saturday.
Yes, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. We're doing 100 episodes of those things. I see a few folks in the chat right now. I'm warning you now. If you've been on that show before, chances are you're getting an invite to come on episode 100. It will be ridiculous.
I know I'll be there.
It'll be foolish. I want to have as many people on that show on that day as possible. Even if you got 5 minutes for me, I'll be glad to see your face, just to chat with you and thank you in person for helping get us to 100 episodes. So for those who want to check it out, we will have a slanderous, ridiculous episode for episode 100. And those who've been on before, I see you, Silent Cypher. I see you, Pixel. I see you, Red Tree. All of y'all, I will be sending you invites because I want you guys to jump on here and let's do some ridiculousness on a Saturday morning. And that will be next week, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That may go for a little while. I'm just warning you now. That may be a little slanderous for a 4-hour show.
You guys are going to compete with the Iron Lords and with Red Tree. Dude, Red Tree's so professional. So I was on Red Tree's show, and he sends his list of topics, and the man is so detailed, man. Shout out to you. You really made the show easy for me because he summarized everything that we were going to go over. But I was like, in the back of my mind, I told my wife, hey, I'm going to be busy for maybe 3 or 4 hours on Sunday. And she goes, wow, the show's going to go on that long? I go, maybe. There's a lot of topics to cover. But
you never know.
Tree, man, he's a pro, though, dude. He got us out of there in about 2 hours, so shut out, Red Tree. That was awesome, dude.
Absolutely. And besides, to be fair, you don't have the Everblown Bloviator on there, too, so you can come get in and get out real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
He's not here, so I can slander him.
And we'll slander him a little bit. He just likes to make sure that he gets all of these thoughts out because he tweets to us on our DM, right, on our private DM all the time. But I think he just wants to let the good folks know what's up. You know what I'm saying? He likes summarizing the whole week. Yeah, that's all it is.
All right. Well, Mr. John Wolf, tell the fine folks where they can find you. What I know you're out there on the X streets. Oh my God. Anyway, what are we doing this week, sir?
Well, we're gonna be trolling some fanboys because I mean we got to do that on Twitter, right? So expect to see some of that on Twitter.
What's Twitter? I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, X. I don't know what they're doing with this thing, but whatever it's called now.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know, man. So we're gonna be trolling, of course. We are for sure gonna be gaming. Hit me up if you guys want to play some classic Call of Duty. I'll be on. I'll be jumping on Black Ops 2 a lot this week, and for sure. hit me up, John Wolf, Twitter, as you see it spelled there, Xbox, Steam, PlayStation, anywhere that you guys want a game, just hit me up and start a conversation, guys. Plus, I was just on Web Dave and Retro Show, the Gamers Council. Check it out, Gamers Console podcast. I was there last night, and then on Thursday I was over on Infinite Umbra Show, the Fix.
Yes,
okay,
sir. Yes, sir.
And we had a great conversation there talking about Game Pass and all the changes that it had. It got heated for a second there between Umbra and Daniel, but it was fun, kind of being the mediator there. So it was a fun show, man. And
I want to see them fight. This is great.
Well, they weren't fighting, but it was quite a heated discussion, which was awesome. I mean, I think
did Daniel McGee say Unreal Engine 5 sucks or something? I'm sorry.
Basically, no. But it was great being on there. And guys, you'll see me around. And if I get an invite from anybody else, I'll come on and just speak my Latino heat nonsense. All right. So, before I sign off, no missionary gamers, guys. We don't want that missionary gaming life. Let's get out of that mentality. Open up, guys. Open up.
That's
it. I'm done.
Someone please get me a visual of what the heck that's supposed to mean. For me, I'll be out there on them streets. You can find me, TKO Sante, Xbox, PlayStation, all the places you want to find me. Always enjoy doing this with you, Mr. John Wolf. Always fun, always introspective, and we always get really good feedback from the community. So it's always awesome to do this with you. We will be back next week. We will have a lot more fun once again, and Mr. John Wolf will be hosting. But until then, enjoy your games. Don't let PCMR get you down, and stop all the slander. Have a good night, everybody.
I won't.